The unseen millionaire, the scent of charcoal and laughter hung thick in the air as Daniel Hart stepped through the wooden gate of Nate's backyard. He had dressed carefully faded jeans, a plain gray t-shirt, and scuffed sneakers. No designer. Labels, no flashy watch. Just a man at a barbecue, nothing more. Nate waved from the grill, a beer in one hand, tongs in the other. "You actually showed up," double quotes. Daniel smirked. "You thought I'd bail, kinda?" Nate flipped a burger. "You've been ghosting us since you got important." Daniel rolled his eyes but didn't argue. He had been distant. Success had a way of swallowing time whole. He grabbed a drink and let his gaze wander. The yard was full of familiar faces, old college friends, neighbors, people who didn't care about net worth. And then, near the fence, he saw her. She was leaning against a tree, barefoot, a sketchbook balanced on her knee. Her dark curls were half tied, half wild, and she was laughing at something no one else seemed to hear. Not the polite laugh of someone playing a part, but something real, unrestrained. "Who's that?" Daniel asked, nodding toward her. Nate followed his gaze. "Oh, that's Sophia, my sister's friend. Just moved back from Paris. What's her deal?" Nate shrugged. "Artist. Weird in the best way. Go say hi just. Don't be your usual intense self." Daniel ignored the jab and walked over. She didn't look up until he was right in front of her. When she did, her eyes were dark, curious, unimpressed. "Hi," he said. "Hi," she echoed, closing her sketchbook. "I'm Daniel." "Sophia." She didn't offer her hand, just studied him like he was a puzzle she wasn't sure she wanted to solve. "You one of Nate's friends?" "Something like that?" She tilted her head. "You don't talk like the others." "How's that? You listen." He blinked. No one had ever said that to him before. They talked for hours, sitting on the grass as the party faded around them. She told him about Paris, about quitting her gallery job to paint what she loved. He told her about growing up poor, about coding in his mom's basement. Not once did she ask what he did for a living. When the night ended, she tore a page from her sketchbook and scribbled her number. "Call," she said. "Don't text." He took the paper, his pulse steady for the first time in years. The napkin with Sophia's number sat on Daniel's kitchen counter for 3 days. He wasn't hesitating, not exactly. He just didn't want to rush. For once, he wanted to let something unfold without a plan. On the 4th morning, he picked up his phone and dialed. She answered on the 2nd ring. "Took you long enough." A laugh escaped him. "I was busy." "Doing what?" "Pretending I wasn't thinking about calling you." A pause. Then her voice softened. "Meet me at the Rusty Nail. Noon." The Rusty Nail was the kind of cafe that didn't bother with Wi-Fi. The floor creaked, the mugs were mismatched, and the barista glared at anyone who asked for oat milk. Sophia was already there when Daniel arrived, tucked into a corner booth with a book. She didn't look up as he slid in across from her. "You're late," she said. "I'm on time." "Late." "People always say that." He grinned. "What are you reading?" She held up the cover, The Unbearable Lightness of Being. "Ever read it?" "No." "Good. I'd have to rethink this whole thing if you had." They ordered coffee black for him, a 2 sweet caramel thing for her, and talked about nothing important. The weather. A stray dog she'd befriended. The way the city smelled after rain. Then, out of nowhere, Sophia said, "You're not like other rich guys." Daniel froze. "What?" She sipped her coffee, unfazed. "You've got the posture of someone who's used to being in charge, but you don't talk like it. Most wealthy men can't go 5 minutes without mentioning their portfolio." His pulse kicked up. "How do you know I'm rich?" She shrugged. "Your watch? The way you carry yourself? The fact that Nate mentioned you made it big but refused to elaborate." A smirk. "Also, your shoes cost more than my rent." Daniel exhaled. He hadn't even realized he'd worn his nice sneakers. "You're not denying it," she said. "Would it matter if I did?" She leaned back, studying him. "No, I don't care about money." "Then why bring it up?" "Because I want to." "Know why you care." The question hung between them.
Oh.
Daniel traced the rim of his mug. "I don't want it to be the first thing people see." Sophia nodded like she understood. So, what do you want people to see? You, he thought. It's just you looking at me like this. But he didn't say it. Instead, he asked about her art. She lit up, pulling out her sketchbook pages filled with charcoal portraits, messy and alive. This one's my favorite, she said, pointing to a half-finished drawing of an old man on a park bench. Daniel frowned. Why? It's not even done. Exactly. Still got possibilities. He stared at her, something warm unfolding in his chest. When they left, the sun was setting. Sophia turned to him on the sidewalk. I'm not going to ask what you do, she said, and I won't tell you. She smiled. Good. I like this version of you. Then she walked away, leaving Daniel standing there, wondering when a simple afternoon had started to feel like the beginning of something he couldn't name. The call came on a Thursday, just as the first raindrops hit Daniel's office window. What are you doing right now? Sophia's voice was bright against the hum of the city. Daniel glanced at the stack of contracts on his desk, pretending to care about corporate tax law. Would meet me at Fulton Rec Center. 15 minutes? The what? Just come. The line went dead. Fulton Rec Center was a relic from the 70s peeling paint. Flickering fluorescence, the faint smell of sweat and old wood. Daniel stepped inside, his polished shoes squeaking on the scuffed court. Sophia stood at half court, basketball in hand, wearing an oversized hoodie and a grin. You're late, she said. I don't even know why I'm here, he admitted. I asked. She tossed the ball at him. He fumbled it. I haven't played since high school, he said. Perfect. She stole the ball back, dribbled twice, and sank a shot. No expectations. For the next hour, they played or something like it. Daniel missed every shot. Sophia trash-talked him between layups. The rain drummed against the roof, a steady rhythm beneath their laughter. At one point, Daniel tripped over his own feet and landed hard on the court. Sophia collapsed beside him, breathless. You're terrible at this, she said. I know. Grinned up at the ceiling. It's amazing. She turned her head to look at him. Why? Because no one's watching. No one cares if I fail. Sophia propped herself up on one elbow. I'm watching. The words settled between them. Daniel's chest tightened. I know, he said quietly. She held his gaze for a beat, then stood, and pulled him up. Race you to the free throw line. Later, soaked and exhausted, they sat on the bleachers sharing a vending machine soda. Why'd you really bring me here? Daniel asked. Sophia wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. I wanted to see you somewhere that wasn't curated. No scripts, no personas, just you. She paused. And I like watching rich guys lose. Daniel laughed, but something in her tone made him pause. You think I'm fake? No, she met his eyes. But I think you're used to performing. She gestured to the empty gym. This is real. The rain slowed to a drizzle. Daniel stared at the ball, rolling it between his palms. What if I don't know how to be real anymore? Sophia stood and grabbed her bag. Then keep coming back here until you remember. She walked away, leaving wet footprints on the wood. Daniel watched her go, the ball still in his hands, his heart pounding like he'd just learned how to run. Daniel waited a week before seeing Sophia again. Not because he didn't want to. He did. Desperately, but because he needed to figure out how to tell her the truth. Not just that he was wealthy, but how wealthy. He found her on a bench in the park, sketching the same stray dog from weeks before. She didn't look up as he approached. You're blocking my light, she said. He stepped aside. Better. She glanced up, squinting against the sun. Depends. Are you here to apologize for ghosting me? I didn't ghost you, I was overthinking. I smirked. Yeah, I figured. Daniel sat beside her. The dog trotted over, sniffed his shoes, and immediately lost interest. I need to tell you something, he said. Sophia closed her sketchbook. Okay. Psst, I'm not just well off. He exhaled. I'm the CEO of Heart Dynamics. The tech company... ... double quotes. Silence. Then... Oh, Sophia blinked. She stared at him for a long moment. Daniel braced for the shift, the way people's eyes changed when they realized his net worth. The sudden stiffness in their posture, the calculation, but Sophia just tilted her head. Huh? That's it? What do you want me to say? Congratulations. Sorry, she shrugged. Money's just money. Daniel's shoulders loosened. Most people care. I'm not most people. She nudged his knee with hers. But you already knew that. The dog barked, demanding attention. Sophia scratched its ears absently. Why'd you wait so long to tell me? She asked. Daniel watched her fingers in the dog's fur. I didn't want it to change how you saw me. It doesn't. Changes everything, he said quietly. The way people treat you, what they expect, who they think you are. Sophia considered this. Then don't tell anyone else. What? Keep it between us. She grinned. Be incognito. Wear your fancy shoes and let people think they're knockoffs. Daniel laughed, but something twisted in his chest. It's not that simple. Sure it is. She stood, brushing dog hair off her jeans. You're still just a guy who sucks at basketball. He caught her wrist as she turned. Sophia, she paused. What if I don't want that life anymore? He asked. The words hung there, raw and unplanned. Sophia studied his face, then softly, then don't live it. She didn't pull away. Daniel's thumb brushed the inside of her wrist, feeling her pulse. For the first time in years, the future felt wide open. The key was small, tarnished brass, left on Sophia's doorstep in an unmarked envelope. No note. No explanation, just an address scribbled on the back of a coffee-stained receipt. Sophia stood outside the crumbling storefront. Squinting through, rain-streaked glass. Peeling gold letters spelled the dusty quill a long-dead bookstore, its shelves skeletal, floorboards warped with time. Daniel was already inside, silhouetted against the gray light, sweeping dust into hazy sunbeams. You bought a building? Sophia's voice echoed off empty shelves. He turned, broom in hand. Leased it, actually. 1-year trial. For what? You said you miss silence? He gestured to the rotting shelves, the cracked bay window. This place is nothing but... Sophia stepped further in, her boots crunching plaster debris. A moth-aton armchair slumped in the corner. The air smelled of mildew and possibility. It's a ruin, she said. So was I. Daniel set the broom aside. Before you. The words lingered between them. Sophia ran a finger along a sagging shelf, sending a cascade of dead insects skittering. What's the plan? No plan. He pulled a folded paper from his Pokita lease agreement, his name crossed out, hers written above it in smudged ink. Just a space for your art, your books, whatever you want. Sophia took the paper. And you? I'll be here, if you want. His voice dropped. I resigned last week. Her head snapped up. Kept 10% equity. Advisory role only. He shrugged like it was nothing. Like he hadn't just walked away from a fortune most people couldn't fathom. Turns out I'd rather lose basketball games than board meetings? Sophia stared at him. Then abruptly, she laughed, bright and startled, bouncing off the bare walls. You're insane, probably. She crumpled the lease in her fist and stepped. Closer. Prove it. Daniel didn't hesitate. Kissed her there in the wreckage of what would become the unwritten chapter at their bookstore, their sanctuary, their fresh start. Her lips tasted of rain and recklessness. His hands calloused from packing up a corporate life, cradled her face like she was the first real thing he'd ever held. When they broke apart, Sophia pressed the crumpled lease into his palm. We'll need paint, she said. Daniel grinned. Bull. Get the brushes. Outside, the rain slowed to a drizzle. Somewhere beneath the floorboards, an old pipe groaned the building, sighing in relief. As if it had been waiting decades for this. For them. Epilogue. 1 year later, the chapter 1 grand. Opening drew exactly 7 customers. An elderly woman bought a poetry collection. A teenager shelved his own zine in the local Voices corner. A stray dog now named Fitzgerald slept by the registered at closing time. Daniel flipped the sign to closed while Sophia counted out the meager till. We lost $83 today, she announced. Worth it. He pulled her onto the refurbished countertop, kissing the flower dust from her cheeks. Through the front window. The city glittered tall and indifferent, full of people chasing things that would never love them back. But here in their little kingdom of second-hand books and crooked shelves, The only thing that mattered was the way Sophia's laughter tangled with his, and the quiet certainty that this was enough.